The air buzzed with life in Umudiana. Laughter echoed through the marketplace. Children chased chickens between brightly painted stalls, and the scent of spicy pepper soup wafted on the breeze. But beneath the surface of vibrant colours and rhythmic drums, a shadow lurked. Whispers of a generations-old curse clung to the Obi family, leaving a bitter taste in even the sweetest palm wine. The Obi family, led by the respected Ezafam, was once known for their prosperity and good fortune. Yet a palpable sadness lingered in their eyes, a constant reminder of the unseen force that threatened to shatter their world. Their fate, it seemed, was woven into the very fabric of their existence. In Igbo culture, tradition held immense power. The spirits of ancestors were ever present, their influence felt in every aspect of daily life. Transgressions against tradition, whether intentional or accidental, could have dire consequences. Curses, whispered to be potent and enduring, could plague families for generations, bringing misfortune, illness, and even death. The weight of this unspoken knowledge pressed heavily on OGECHI's young shoulders. As OGECHI blossomed into a young woman, her parents' attempts to shield her from the truth became increasingly futile. The curse, once a distant whisper, now roared in her ears, a constant companion to her every thought. She witnessed firsthand the toll it took on her family, the way it chipped away at their happiness and replaced it with a quiet desperation. OGECHI's once carefree spirit dimmed, her laughter growing infrequent, replaced by a thoughtful introspection that belied her young age. She yearned to break free from the curse's grip, to reclaim her family's happiness and forge her own destiny. One sweltering afternoon, as OGECHI sought solace in the cool shade of the village's ancient baobab tree, a whisper reached her ears. It spoke of a renowned shaman, Obiora, who resided deep within the heart of the Igbo forest, a place of potent magic and ancient spirits. Hope, like a fragile seedling pushing through cracked earth, bloomed in OGECHI's chest. Could Obiora, with his rumoured wisdom and connection to the spirit world, shed light on the curse that haunted her family? With a newfound resolve hardening her heart, OGECHI vowed to find Obiora, to seek his guidance and unravel the mystery of the curse that bound her family. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, OGECHI bid farewell to her village. She had packed sparingly, taking only what was essential for her journey. Her heart pounded with a mixture of fear and anticipation. The forest held 1,000 dangers, both real and imagined. Yet a sense of purpose propelled her forward, a deep-seated belief that her destiny lay beyond the familiar borders of her village. Days blurred into nights as OGECHI pressed deeper into the forest. She followed winding animal trails, forged streams swollen with rainwater, and used the stars to guide her when the sun was swallowed by the dense canopy. The forest tested her resolve, presenting obstacles at every turn. But OGECHI refused to be deterred. She had come seeking answers, and she refused to leave empty-handed. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the forest opened up, revealing a clearing bathed in an ethereal light. In the center of the clearing stood a small hut, its thatched roof covered in moss, its walls constructed from mud bricks that had been baked by the sun for generations. A sense of peace settled over OGECHI, a feeling of having stumbled upon a sacred space, a sanctuary untouched by the outside world. She approached the hut cautiously, her heart pounding in her chest. This, she sensed, was her destination, the place where she would find the answers she sought. OGECHI knelt before the shaman, her head bowed in respect. She presented him with the offering she had brought, her heart filled with a mixture of hope and trepidation. Obiora accepted them with a nod, his eyes still closed.
You seek knowledge of the curse that binds your family. But knowledge, like power, comes at a price. Are you willing to pay it, child?
Yes, Obiora. I would do anything to break this curse, to free my family from its grip.
Obiora began to chant, his voice low and rhythmic, the sounds weaving around OGECHI like smoke. The air crackled with energy, and the room seemed to shift and sway around her. She closed her eyes, surrendering to the power of the shaman's magic. And when she opened them again, she was no longer in the hut. She found herself standing on the edge of a familiar clearing, but something was different. And then she saw them. Her parents, younger, their faces etched with a desperation she had never witnessed before, stood before a shrouded figure. OGECHI watched in horror as her parents hesitated for only a moment before agreeing to the bargain. The vision faded, and OGECHI found herself back in the shaman's hut, the air heavy with the lingering scent of incense and magic. She swayed on her feet, her head spinning, the weight of what she had witnessed threatening to crush her. So this was the truth of the curse, the terrible secret her parents had kept hidden for so long. She now understood the price that was paid for her family's temporary reprieve, the burden she had carried since birth. The silence in the hut was heavy, filled with unspoken truths and the lingering scent of ancient magic. OGECHI struggled to reconcile the vibrant, loving parents she knew with the desperate souls she had witnessed in the vision.
The spirits are rarely straightforward in their dealings, child. They demand balance, but their scales are often weighted with trickery and veiled consequences. Your parents, they acted out of love, desperate to protect their lineage from a darkness that stretched back generations.
But what does it mean, Obiora? Am I cursed to carry this burden alone? Is there no escape from this legacy of pain?
Obiora remained silent for a moment, his gaze fixed on the flickering candle flame, as if drawing wisdom from its dancing light. Finally he spoke, his voice a low murmur that seemed to weave itself into the very fabric of the hut.
The spirits are not without mercy, child. They understand the complexities of the human heart, the sacrifices made in the name of love and desperation. The curse can be broken, but the path is fraught with danger, a test of courage, resilience, and the unwavering strength of your spirit.
OGECHI, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and newfound determination, leaned forward, her gaze fixed on the shaman's face.
Tell me what I must do, Obiora.
With a slow, deliberate movement, Obiora reached for a weathered scroll that lay beside him on the mat. Its surface was covered in intricate symbols and markings, a language both ancient and powerful, indecipherable to OGECHI's untrained eyes. As the shaman unrolled the scroll, a musty scent filled the air, a potent blend of dried herbs, thyme, and forgotten magic.
The curse, woven from deceit and desperation, can be unraveled. But it requires a journey into the heart of the curse itself, a confrontation with the entity that holds your family captive.
Fear, cold and sharp, threatened to paralyze OGECHI, but she forced it down, summoning a wellspring of strength she hadn't known she possessed. Her parents had made a terrible bargain, but she, their daughter, would be the one to set them free.
Tell me what I must face, Obiora. I will not shy away from any danger, any challenge to break this curse and reclaim my family's future.
The shaman nodded, a flicker of approval in his ancient eyes. He pointed to a symbol on the scroll, a swirling vortex of lines that seemed to writhe and pulse with a life of its own.
This symbol represents a gateway. It lies hidden deep within the forest, guarded by spirits both benevolent and malevolent. You must find this gateway, OGECHI, and confront the entity that holds the key to your family's freedom.
He handed her a small pouch, its leather worn smooth with time.
Inside, you will find a mixture of herbs and charms, protection against the trials that await you. Use them wisely, child, for the path ahead is fraught with deception and danger. Trust your instincts, for they are the echoes of your ancestors guiding you towards your destiny.
Armed with the shaman's guidance, OGECHI ventured deeper into the heart of the forest. The air thrummed with a strange energy, the very trees whispering warnings and encouragement. She deciphered the cryptic clues left by Obiora, guided by ancestral knowledge. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, OGECHI stumbled upon a clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center stood a towering baobab tree. A figure materialized from the shadows, his form shimmering like moonlight on water.
Well met, daughter of Easy Affam. I am Affam, a humble servant of fate.
OGECHI, her senses alert, took a step back, her hand instinctively reaching for the shaman's pouch.
What is it you believe I possess, Affam? I have journeyed far, guided by the wisdom of the ancestors and a desire to break the curse that binds my family.
Affam chuckled, a low rumble that seemed to echo through the clearing.
Ah, the curse. Such a heavy burden to bear, a constant reminder of a debt that can never be fully repaid.
He took a step closer, his gaze piercing OGECHI's defenses, searching for the fear he knew lurked beneath her composed exterior.
Your parents, they were so desperate to save their lineage, to outrun the darkness that clung to their family tree. They made a bargain, a promise, that they could never truly fulfill.
A wave of dizziness washed over OGECHI, her vision blurring for a moment as Affam's words echoed the truth she had only just begun to grasp. The curse, the bargain, it was all connected, a tangled web of desperation and unintended consequences.
What bargain? What did my parents promise you?
Affam leaned closer, his lips curving into a cruel smile.
They promised me you, OGECHI, the firstborn child, a life for a life, a soul bound to my service for eternity.
Horror, cold and paralyzing, threatened to consume OGECHI, but deep within her, a spark of defiance ignited. She would not be a pawn in their game, a victim of a bargain she did not make.
I will not be yours, Affam. My life is my own, and I will not be bound by the desperate actions of others, no matter how much they loved me.
She reached into the shaman's pouch, her fingers closing around the smooth surface of her grandmother's stone. It radiated a gentle warmth, a reminder of her lineage, of the love that had sustained her family for generations.
I will break this curse, Affam, not just for my family, but for myself. I will not be defined by the shadows of the past, but by the light of my own choosing.
The clearing crackled with tension, the very air thrumming with the power of OGECHI's defiance. Affam threw back his head and laughed, the sound echoing through the clearing like a flock of startled birds. He circled OGECHI, his movements fluid and predatory like a panther stalking its prey. Affam as S4. But I am not without mercy. I will offer you a choice, a chance to alter the course of your family's fate. OGECHI met his gaze, her fear a tangible thing, but so too was her determination. She had come too far, faced too much to surrender to despair now. OGECHI as S1. What choice? Affam stopped in front of her, his expression unreadable. Affam as S4. The curse that binds your family, it feeds on a debt unpaid, a promise broken. To break the curse, a life must be offered in its place, a soul pure and untainted by the bargain struck long ago. He held out his hand, and a single fruit materialized, its skin a vibrant crimson that seemed to glow with an inner light. It pulsed gently, as if a heart beat beneath its smooth surface. The air grew heavy with the scent of ripe berries, honey, and a cloying sweetness that sent a shiver down OGECHI's spine. Affam as S4. This fruit holds the power to sever the ties that bind your family to the curse. But it demands a sacrifice, a willing exchange of life for life. He held the fruit closer, and OGECHI felt an overwhelming urge to reach out, to take it, her every instinct screaming at her to break free from the suffocating weight of the curse. But something in Affam's eyes, A flicker of triumph that belied his casual demeanor gave her pause. OGECHI as S1. Who must make this sacrifice? Whose life must be given in exchange for my family's freedom? Afam smiled, a slow, predatory stretching of his lips that sent a chill down her spine. Afam as S4. The choice, my dear OGECHI, is yours to make. The fruit demands a life willingly given, a soul offered without reservation. Choose wisely, for the consequences of your decision will ripple through generations. OGECHI closed her eyes, her mind a maelstrom of fear and confusion. She thought of her parents, their faces etched with a weary sadness. Her grandmother's stories were filled with ancient wisdom. A sense of calm settled over her, a knowing deep within her bones. She was not alone in this moment. The spirits of her ancestors surrounded her, a comforting warmth. They whispered words of caution and courage. OGECHI opened her eyes, her fear replaced by a steely resolve. She would choose her own path for herself and her family.
You lie, Afam. The fruit, it doesn't break the curse, does it? It merely transfers it, binds another soul to your service in its place.
You misunderstand, daughter of man. The fruit offers a clean slate, a purging of the past. It is a gift, a blessing.
A curse disguised as a blessing. You thrive on deceit, on the desperation of others. You offer false hope, preying on the vulnerable, binding them to your will through their own love and fear.
You dare defy me, daughter of man? You who owe your very existence to the bargain struck by your ancestors? You who carry the mark of their desperation upon your soul?
I may carry the mark of their bargain, Afam, but I am not bound by their choices. I choose to forge my own path, to break free from the cycle of sacrifice and suffering.
She thought of her parents, of the burden they had carried for so long, their love for her, a heavy weight on their souls. She would free them from this curse, not by offering another life in exchange, but by facing the darkness head-on, by embracing the truth of her own power. The air around her hummed with the presence of her ancestors, their strength flowing into her, lending her their courage and wisdom. She was not alone in this fight. She was the culmination of generations of resilience, of love, of an enduring spirit that refused to be extinguished.
The curse ends here, Afam. I release my family from its grip, not through sacrifice, but through the unwavering strength of my love for them.
As OGECHI spoke, the clearing was bathed in a blinding light, the very air crackling with a palpable shift in energy. The ground beneath her feet trembled, and the trees swayed as if caught in a sudden wind.
You cannot defy me. I am Afam, a servant of fate, a weaver of destinies.
But OGECHI stood her ground, her silhouette outlined against the blinding light. She was no one's pawn, no spirit's plaything. And as the light reached its peak, OGECHI knew the curse was broken by her love for her family. The forest released OGECHI as reluctantly as it had embraced her. She emerged from the emerald depths, blinking in the harsh light of the setting sun. Her journey had transformed her.
Gone was the innocent girl who had first ventured into the unknown.
In her place stood a young woman forged in the fires of truth and tested by ancient powers. She carried herself differently, her shoulders squared, her chin held high, her steps purposeful and strong. She had faced the darkness within the forest and within herself, and she had emerged victorious. OGECHI saw her home with new eyes, her heart heavy with the weight of her family's secret. Yet she also carried the hope of liberation, the promise of a future free from the shadows of the past. OGECHI paused at the edge of the village, her hand hovering over the intricately carved wooden door of her family's compound. The weight of her knowledge created a palpable tension, a barrier between her and the life she had once known.
She could almost feel the warmth of the hearth, hear her mother's gentle humming as she prepared the evening meal, smell the comforting aroma of her father's pipe tobacco.
But those familiar comforts were now tinged with the bitterness of betrayal, the pain of a truth hidden for too long. OGECHI knew that once she crossed the threshold, nothing would ever be the same. The words she carried had the power to shatter the illusion of normalcy, to expose the raw wounds that had festered in her family for generations. Taking a deep breath, Ogechi pushed open the door and stepped into the familiar courtyard. Her parents, their faces etched with worry and relief at her return, rose from their stools by the fire. But before they could shower her with questions and welcome her back into their embrace, Ogechi held up a hand, silencing them with a look they had never seen on her face before.
I know, she said, her voice surprisingly steady, despite the turmoil that raged within her. I know the truth of the curse, the bargain you made, the price you paid for my life.
The courtyard, usually alive with the sounds of family and laughter, fell silent. Afam and Olanma stood frozen, their faces draining of color, as Ogechi's words pierced the veil of secrecy they had so carefully constructed. The weight of their past, a secret they had guarded for so long, settled upon them like a physical burden, threatening to crush them.
Olanma's hand flew to her mouth, stifling a gasp of disbelief and fear.
Afam, his usual composure shattered, swayed slightly as if struck by an invisible blow. Their eyes, filled with a mixture of shame, guilt, and a desperate hope for understanding, met their daughter's unwavering gaze.
Why? Ogechi asked, her voice trembling with a potent mix of pain, anger, and a desperate longing for answers. Why didn't you tell me? Why suffer in silence, carrying this burden alone, when it was my life, my soul that was at stake?
Her parents, their faces etched with the weight of years spent living a lie, struggled to find words to explain the unexplainable. How could they, after all these years, articulate the depths of their desperation, the impossible choice they had faced in the face of an ancient curse that threatened to consume their lineage?
We were desperate, Ogechi. The curse, it had haunted our family for generations, claiming the lives of countless firstborn children. When you were born, when we were blessed with your light, we couldn't bear the thought of losing you, of seeing our lineage extinguished.
Afam's voice was heavy with remorse, his words revealing the desperation and fear that drove them to make the fateful bargain. He sank onto a stool, his shoulders slumped, his gaze fixed on the ground as if seeking forgiveness from the very earth beneath their feet.
We made a deal with Afam. He promised to spare you, to break the curse upon our family, but at a terrible price. We didn't know what he would demand, not until it was too late. We never intended for you to carry this burden, Ogechi. We only wanted to protect you, to give you a chance at a life free from the darkness that had haunted our family for so long.
Olanma, tears streaming down her face, revealed the depth of their love for Ogechi, the lengths they were willing to go to protect her. As Ogechi listened to her parents' confession, the anger that had burned so fiercely within her began to subside, replaced by a wave of empathy and a profound sadness. She had journeyed into the heart of the forest, faced down a trickster spirit, and uncovered the truth of her family's past. But in that moment, surrounded by the familiar sights and smells of her childhood home, she realized that the curse was not just a supernatural affliction, but a cycle of pain and secrecy that had been passed down through generations.
We will face this together. The curse may have haunted our family for generations, but it ends now. We will find a way to break free, not through sacrifice or deceit, but through the enduring power of our love for each other.
Ogechi stepped forward, crossing the space that had separated them for so long. She knelt before her parents, her anger replaced by a deep understanding and a fierce determination to heal the wounds of the past. She took their hands in hers, her touch a silent promise of forgiveness and a shared commitment to breaking free from the chains that had bound them for so long. As the sun rose, casting its golden light over the village of Umudiana, the Obi family gathered in the courtyard of their home. They had spent a sleepless night, sharing stories, tears, and unspoken truths. But as the sky shifted to the hopeful hues of dawn, a sense of peace settled over them. They were no longer prisoners of the past, but architects of their own destiny.
Guided by the wisdom of our ancestors and the strength of our convictions, the power of love and forgiveness will guide us.
They would honor their ancestors by forging a new path, one paved with truth, unity, and strength. The Obi family, hand in hand, began the work of healing the wounds of the past. Guided by Obiora's instructions and empowered by generations of ancestral knowledge, OGECHI led her parents in a ritual of healing and remembrance. The air crackled with a palpable energy as they moved with a grace born of desperation and determination. The courtyard, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight, transformed into a sacred space. Intricate patterns, drawn with chalk and ash, adorned the earthen floor, representing the interconnectedness of life, death, and the enduring spirit that bound them all.
Spirits of our ancestors, we call upon you to bear witness to our act of defiance.
The scent of herbs and resins, both familiar and strange, hung heavy in the air, a fragrant tapestry woven from generations of tradition and magic. OGECHI's voice, clear and strong, rose above the rhythmic chanting of her parents, their words ancient and powerful, calling upon the spirits of their ancestors to bear witness to their act of defiance. The ritual reached its crescendo as OGECHI, her hands outstretched towards the heavens, called upon the spirits of the earth and sky, the ancestors who had walked this land before them, to lend them their strength and break the chains of the curse that had bound them for so long. As if in answer to her plea, a sudden gust of wind swept through the courtyard, extinguishing the torches and plunging them into darkness. A collective gasp escaped the Obi family as a figure materialized from the shadows, his form shifting and swirling like smoke illuminated by a dying ember. Afam stood before them, his eyes blazing with a cold fury that sent shivers down their spines. Gone was the charm, the playful demeanor that had masked his true nature. He was a being of raw power, his anger palpable, his presence radiating a tangible aura of menace.
You dare defy me? You who are nothing but ants beneath my feet, insects who dare to challenge the will of a god?
He raised his hands and bolts of energy, crackling with a malevolent power, shot towards the Obi family. But before they could strike, a protective barrier, shimmering like a wall of woven moonlight, sprang up around them, deflecting Afam's attack. The air crackled with tension, the very earth beneath their feet seeming to vibrate with the intensity of the confrontation. OGECHI stood her ground, her chin held high, her gaze locked on Afam's. Fear coursed through her veins, but it was overshadowed by a fierce determination to protect her family, to break free from the cycle of fear and sacrifice. And then, as if in answer to her unspoken prayer, the ground beneath her feet trembled violently. A blinding light, brighter than the noonday sun, erupted from the center of the courtyard, engulfing the Obi family in its protective embrace.
No, this cannot be!
Afam cried out in anguish as the light washed over him, his form flickering and fading as the combined strength of generations of Obi ancestors rose up to challenge his dominion. The air crackled with a palpable shift in power, the darkness receding as the light spread outwards, banishing the shadows and illuminating the courtyard with a brilliance that seemed to cleanse the very air they breathed. As quickly as it had appeared, the light subsided, leaving behind a sense of peace and a profound silence. Afam was gone. His presence vanished as if he had never been. The curse, the weight that had burdened the Obi family for generations, had finally been lifted. The Obi family stood together, bathed in the warm light of the rising sun, their faces etched with a mixture of awe, relief, and a profound gratitude. The curse that had haunted them for generations was gone, replaced by a sense of hope and a newfound appreciation for the preciousness of their bond.
We are free, truly free.
OGECHI, her heart overflowing with love for her family, embraced her parents, their tears, a testament to the shared trauma they had endured and the unbreakable connection that bound them together. They had faced their demons, both internal and external, and emerged from the crucible stronger than ever before. The village of Umudiana, awakened by the echoes of the previous night's confrontation, buzzed with a renewed sense of life. The story of the Obi family's triumph over the curse spread like wildfire, a testament to the enduring power of courage, love, and the unshakable bonds of family. The legacy of the cursed blessing, once a tale whispered in fear, became a source of inspiration, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope, resilience, and the unwavering strength of the human spirit could prevail over even the most ancient of evils.